Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Sims 4 video. Today we're actually doing something a little different than a mod review, and I saw this on one of my comments about how to make the Sims game load faster, and I figured I would give some tips and tricks that I know of to make your Sims game run a little faster. Disclaimer though, I do want to note that the Sims 4 has a lot of lag issues. I think that's been one of the main talking points since the game came out of just how laggy it is. So I can't guarantee that this will fix all of your issues, but it definitely will help kind of relieve some of those, some of those issues, and especially if you play with a lot of mods, it's gonna be a little bit laggy just because, the Sims is already laggy enough that when you're adding mods and stuff like that, it's important to note that your game's gonna be a little laggy. That's just a part of it. But again, here are some of the things that I've done over the years that kind of help relieve some of those issues. So let's get into it. The first thing that I normally do when I have an issue is make sure to kind of clean out your computer every now and then. This is what I use. It's Glary Utilities. This thing is free to use, although there is a pro version, but it literally will do exactly what you need. And I basically just scan, and it just basically cleans your computer. I can't really explain exactly what it does. I just know that it goes through your computer and just gets rid of the files and stuff that your computer has kind of built up and like things that you don't really need. So that does help, because if you're not really going through your computer every now and then, like, it's obviously gonna slow down the computer. So it's important to go through your computer every now and then, because that could be contributing to your Sims 4 game being a little laggy, is just from having a bunch of files on your computer that you don't use or that you don't need in your computer. I haven't done this in a minute, so it's probably going through it right now, but that's one thing that I do. And so after about a couple of minutes, it is now cleaned out. My issues are solved, the tracks are erased that I didn't need, and we've basically gone through the computer. It did take a couple of minutes, so it's probably a good thing that I did this today. Another thing that I do want to add into what you can do with your computer to make it run a little bit more smoothly is also updating your drivers is one of the things, because not necessarily that this will help with the lag, but when you update your drivers, it will be using the best updated version of those drivers and your computer, if that makes sense. So it should help kind of make it a little bit more smoother within your actual computer to help with your game. So how I do that is basically you just right click on the Windows icon, and then you should be able to go to, I believe it's Device Manager. Yes, it is Device Manager. And then you just go to the disk drives, and then I just right click on that and then just hit update driver. And then I normally just click on the search automatically for drivers, and it already has been installed because I recently did update my drivers. But if there is an update, it will just update as anything else on your computer, and then you will be able to have the updated drivers for your system. Now I'm going to do a quick shout out to my father, because he actually told me about this one, which I didn't know. So I don't know how many people know about this one, but you can actually like reboot your graphics card, which should also help obviously your graphics card to, which should obviously help your graphics card. And basically how to do that, press Win plus Control Shift B, and then your screen will momentarily go black and you'll hear a beep, but after that everything will reappear just as it was before you press the hotkey. All your current applications should remain open and you won't lose any work. So I just did it and it did work. It was literally just momentarily the screen went black and then it came back on, and that should also update your graphics card. So those are two extra things that you can do as well to help your Sims game out, because it is very important to make sure that you are taking good care of your computer, because I would say 9 out of 10 times the issues that you're having within your Sims 4 game is probably because there's a lot of extra stuff going on in the background of your computer that you might not think of. So it's important to make sure that you're cleaning out your computer, removing those temporary files that you don't need from your computer, but also running those different updates and, rebooting every now and then your computer. So just take care of your computers. The next thing I do is a bit of a two-step situation, because I don't care if you play with mods or don't, you should be doing these two things every now and then. So I go into my EA app. Here's the wonderful EA app that we love so much because it runs so smoothly. this app has given me more life crises than I think I can go through. But we'll go to manage, and then you'll go to repair. And this is important because if you've never repaired your Sims 4 game, that can also be a reason as to why it's laggy, because this will go through the files and just repair them so they're not, as laggy. I do find that if I'm having a lot of issues within my Sims 4 game, when I repair it, it does tend to work a lot better than before I did it. So it's very important that you do this every now and then when your Sims game starts to act up, because for some reason this fixes it to a degree. Again, I don't want to sit here and say that this will fix your issues 100%, but it will definitely make it a lot more smoother. All right, so now that my repair is complete within the Sims, I'm just going to minimize this window and then bring over the next thing you can bring over after you repaired your game. These files are important to delete just because it kind of does unclog your Sims 4 files. Now, it's also important to delete these when downloading new mods or updating mods too. So it's the cache folder and then this cache str folder, this online thumbnail cache file, and then the next one is a local thumb cache that you can delete from your game. And it won't delete anything. It's just good to clear out of your folder. And then that should also help with the lagginess in your Sims too. And then you can just delete those out of your little recycle bin. So the next thing is, if you've done all of that and it's still not working and you're still having issues with it not being, less laggy, you can download these mods. Now, I've heard they work. I've heard they don't work. It just depends on your computer as well. And we'll get into more of other ways you can also help with the lag. These are two mods that I do play with that I will say they work for me, but they might not work for you, but it's an option to at least try and see. So this is by Seriously Sims. It's a simulation lag fix. So when I say that again, the Sims have a lot of lag issues. This is just to help your game not be as laggy. So this mod alters the game time speed so that Sims autonomy does not cause massive simulation lag in instances where there are many autonomy requests. This should eliminate, or at the very least alleviate, the following problems: Sims head bobbing, Sims doing nothing for a few hours, time slowing down on speed 3, time going back to the past. Mod explanations, basically, that seems rather basic, but there's a video showing a scientist experimenting and get to work without the mod. See above. Everything runs much more frequently now, preventing the bobbing head effect. I haven't experienced any time rolling back since I made the mod, and I will agree with her. Again, this is all from what I've experienced playing with the mod. I've seen quite the difference in the game with it just being a little bit more tolerable than before. And then again, she goes into, if you have bugs after updating, normally follow these steps of, again, what we did, the clear your cache folders, the start your game with SimLag fix removed, progress in your save 1 to 2 sim days, save your game, then close it, and then install the new version of it. So we'll go down to the download. So this is your choice of to where to download. I normally do Sim File Share for Seriously Sims, but you can download wherever you want. And then if you've been with me for a hot minute, you probably know how to download mods by now, at least I hope. So I'm using BreezeZip as well, which is to extract, a zip file to make it, the proper, mod folder. This is going to get a little chaotic for a minute. We're going to bring up both of these windows. So I have my mod folder right here, and then I have the simulation lag fix. I'm just going to bring it over into my mod folder, and then it should work in your game. The other thing that you can do as well is download this simulation unclogger from Turbo Driver. You can use both of these together. I do it. I really haven't had any issues. And from what I've read, there's not any conflicts between the two mods. So this mod does not fix the inherent issue that is causing Sims to get stuck, but it provides a remedy if your Sims are getting stuck and won't move. I also highly recommend downloading MC Command Center because you can also reset your Sims through that cheat window, so you're not having to constantly type in that white bar their names and reset sim. You can just click a button for it. But this also is a simulation timeline unclogger. It works by watching each and every action that passes through the Sims actions timeline. It basically tries and help and make sure that they're not getting stuck. But again, the Sims do have their own issues with lag that I don't know if they'll ever fix, but we can only hope. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did last time using BreezeZip or whatever unarchiver you have. we're going to extract that, and this is just a script file, so it's not in a folder or anything like that. And then we'll just bring up the mod, and you can literally just bring over the script file and put it into your game, and it should go and work and give you a little bit of relief in your Sims 4 game. So the next thing that I do, the next step that I find that does work as well, is if we actually go into the Sims 4 game. So we're in game, or the main window, and I'm going to click on my options bar and go into game options. With this, you can see your graphics, and I would basically set your graphics to what works best with your computer. This is what I play with, and to be honest, I think my computer set these settings because I don't remember putting in those settings. But basically, your computer should already kind of set the settings to what your computer is good with, if that makes sense. So you can decide what, graphics and stuff that you want. But this also determines how laggy your game is, because the more detailed you want your game, it's going to take more time to load in all those graphics. So it's important to have a good graphics card if you want to play on a high level of graphics. If you don't have a good graphics card, then I would go down, on this list to make sure that what you're playing with isn't too laggy. The other thing that you can do for my simmers who play with mods is another great way to kind of help with loading in The Sims is if you go into view custom content, we can see all of the mods that I play with. I don't have any custom content in this game yet. If you see down at the bottom, it says show at startup. If you check this, every time you load up into the game, this window is going to show up at the pre-screen. And it's basically going to tell you all the mods and custom content that you have. Now, if you play with a lot and you have the show at startup, it's going to take a long time to get into the game because it's trying to basically load your entire custom content. So that's all your clothes, everything that you have custom content wise is going to be loaded up into that startup screen, as well as your mods. So I turn this off because you can still see it when you get into game. It's just going to make your Sims 4 loading time a lot less. So it's not going to take like an hour or 2 hours depending on how much you have in your game. I think at one time I was up to like 3 hours. So highly recommend turning that off. But an important thing to know is your graphics, making sure that your graphics are, set to the correct, settings of your computer, and also you can kind of mess around with the graphics in game and see what is working and what's not working. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you learned some new tricks and tips for your game. Those are some of the stuff that I do. I would love to hear some stuff that you do as well to help unclog and fix some of the lag in the game. Again, I do want to point out that lag is just an inherent part of The Sims. I don't know why, but they just have always pretty much had a laggy game. So those are just some things that you can do to help alleviate the lag in your game. If you have any questions about it, let me know down in the comments. But I did want to say thank you. We are at like 738 subscribers right now. As you guys know, it is my 1-year anniversary coming up shortly here on YouTube, and with your help we can get to 1,000 subscribers so you can join in on all the fun we're having in on this channel. So with that, I will see you all on Wednesday for our Black Widow challenge.